23 parents from movies and TVs who seem normal but are actually terrible. Hey guys, it's Mommy Cray Cray. So today we're gonna be taking a look at these TV parents or TV moms who, you really thought were, when growing up or watching it, you're just like, okay, this is really funny. But now that you get older, you're just like, I think someone should have called CPS a while ago on these people. Okay, I can't read today, so y'all forgive me. I think I need to make this bigger because I need glasses. All right, so this is an article found on BuzzFeed. So number one, Nick Parker and Liz James, Hallie and Annie's parents from The Parent Trap. Yes, guys, I thought about this myself the other day, like before I even saw this. If you realize on The Parent Trap, okay, so you have the mom who took one, if you haven't seen that movie, if you haven't seen that movie, like, what are you doing right now with your life? One parent, the mom takes one twin and the dad takes the other twin. And then when they get divorced, and then they separate and never tell these girls that they actually have an identical twin. Like, what? I was thinking about that, like, can you imagine if you found out you were a twin and your parents divorced and never told you? Not only that, but it made it seem like the other parent was dead. Like, who does that? Oh, the comment is splitting up twins in a divorce so you can live on two different continents is disturbingly selfish. I agree. Number two, Anna and Elsa's parents from Frozen. Why would you have two sisters grow up completely separated from each other and everyone else? At least find some other people for Anna to hang out with so she's not alone all the time. Yeah, that they basically taught their kids to ignore their problems and instead of dealing with them. And I don't know how Elsa is expected to run a kingdom after all that. Those are all valid points. And then someone else said they made Elsa totally afraid of her abilities, locked in her room and separated her from Anna with no explanation. Let's just say messy parents is what it says. I think this is true as well. And you find that in a lot of cartoons. There's always something about like the parents, usually the mother has died or there's some type of weirdness in it where they bring in this abusive step parent. But in this story, they were pretty bad parents because they didn't help their daughter cope with her abilities. Instead, they locked her away so she couldn't hurt anyone and made her be afraid of herself and the world around her. And then the little sister is just thinking, my sister hates me. So one day they're together and they're living they have the same room and they're loving each other. Then the next thing you know, she wakes up one day and she's no longer allowed to talk to her sister, interact with her on any level. Like, then why don't they have friends outside of the castle? Dora's parents from Dora the Explorer. Now, I've never really watched Dora the Explorer, so I'm interested to see what this says. Someone needs to call CPS on Dora's parents for letting a child run around the world with no supervision. I should have known that. It's true. Dora is like this little kid and she's allowed to like just take her pet monkey. First of all, do we need to be calling someone CPS because she has a pet monkey and that can be dangerous? Number two, why is she, a little girl, allowed to just run around? There's people that want to harm her. There's all types of weirdness and someone would try to take her, anything. Danny Tanner from Full House. Now, let's just talk about this for a second before I get there. The actor himself, I have a problem with as well. You can do your research on him. So let's see what's wrong with Danny. Danny's OCD obsession with cleaning and his constant distrust of his daughters is so worrisome. After rewatching the show a few months back, I'd even call him manipulative. Oh my goodness. Thinking back, he was. He often gives his kids terrible advice and acts completely clueless about what to do whenever Joey or Jesse weren't around. Okay, this is true. I'll never forget the episode where DJ and her boyfriend get into the cab of a cement truck in the yard to make out, accidentally turn it on and fill the kitchen with cement. Danny is like, oh honey, it's all my fault. I didn't give you enough privacy. What? Something about this is not right. Well, something's not right about 3 grown men living with 3 little girls in a house either. So there's a lot we need to talk about Full House, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to Move on. Stuart Little. I didn't expect this. Okay, so Eleanor and Frederick Little from Stuart Little. All those kids in the orphanage dying to be taken home and taken to a loving home, and they pick a bloody mouse. It's so true. Like, why would you go to I know this is a make-believe world where rats and mice can talk, so that's our first indicator we shouldn't be taking that seriously. But seriously, there were like all these little kids, humans that needed adoption, and they just choose a rat. Then also, if I remember correctly, they had a cat, and they know that, you know, they're adopting a mouse. Why would you keep a cat in the house? Like, why would you put that child in that situation? Ross from Friends. Now, I'll tell you, I've never watched Friends. It just wasn't my type of show, so I don't know much about him. It does seem like he's missing a few screws up there. Ross is clearly an absentee father. Ben is hardly ever with him. To make things worse, later on in the show, he has Emma with Rachel and is shown being with her all the time. He rarely mentions Ben or the fact that he and Emma are brother and sister. Ben doesn't even come to the hospital when Emma is born or see her after she comes home. It's like he just forgot all about Ben and started a new life with Rachel and Emma. There's one episode in particular that has always bothered me. It was the one where Ross goes on a date in his leather pants. Ben literally stays the night with him, and the one time he does, Ross passes him off to Monica so he can go on the date. Oh my gosh, the worst. Wow. Okay. They have a lot to say about Ross. People really don't like him as a father. He's clearly, a lot of people see him as a horrible parent. Every single parent from Pretty Little Liars. Now, I've seen a few episodes of Pretty Little Liars, and those teenage girls, no ma'am, those aren't real teens. Okay, but here's this. Where the heck are the parents? These girls are out running around at all hours of the night being blackmailed and taunted and tortured, but not one parent has stepped in and said anything. They're aware of what's going on with their kids, but do they ever consider moving or getting a security system for their homes? If they really cared, they would have done more to keep their children safe. I'm assuming these are very clueless parents, and the episodes I've seen, it's so unrealistic that these teens live in a world. I mean, obviously the whole thing is unrealistic, but what makes these moms or these parents really bad is that they know things are bad with their kids. They know they're going through some very traumatic things, and they don't really care, or they don't really do anything about it. They don't take actual steps that real people would. Again, they can't because it's a TV show and they need the dramatics to keep going, but don't take parenting lessons from Pretty Little Liars. Don't take any lesson from Pretty Little Liars, but especially parenting. Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig from Peppa Pig. No. So what is wrong with Peppa? Wait, they let her ride down a mountain or on a bike with her friends and let her throw tantrums. Okay, I can see that. Also George is Mommy Pig fat shames Daddy Pig constantly in front of the kids. She does. Wait, so oh my gosh, so Peppa Pig. This is funny. I can't even with this. Okay. King Stefan and Queen Leah, Aurora's parents from Sleeping Beauty. Okay, let's see. They know the curse says that Aurora will prick her finger on a spinning wheel on her birthday. So they move her to the woods for 16 years with the fairies for some reason, even though they know the curse won't happen until her 16th birthday. Then they bring her back to the castle for her birthday. So what was the point in hiding her in the woods for 16 years if you're just going to bring her back to the place Maleficent is bound to be waiting? Now that they're saying that, it makes no sense. Like, why did they send her off for 16? Like, why not hide her on her 16th birthday? Like, why would you send her off and then bring her back on the day she's supposed to die? Okay, I think these may be the worst TV or movie parents for me. I was talking about this again the other day when I was thinking about bad parents, but here we go. Kate and Peter McAllister from Home Alone. Everyone goes on about how terrible they are for forgetting their son, and that's fair enough. But you know what's even worse? The mom realizes that he's been left behind when she's on the plane with all the other adults in first class. Where are all the kids? Unsupervised in economy. Like, that's desperately bad parenting. Like, I don't consider that the bad parenting because of that. I mean, that's kind of like a joke maybe. Hold on, my nose is running. For me, and there's a guy who did a video about this on YouTube. If I can remember, I'll put his name up here or something like that. But there's a video about how he talks about how his parents were super, super abusive, or they allowed their son to be abused by every member of their family, even that uncle, the cousin, and worst of all, the older brother was honestly, he was a bully, and quite frankly, I think he's a psychopath, or something's really wrong with the older brother. Like, it's like he enjoys torturing small things. Like, I actually think he could be a serial killer, like Ted Bundy or something. So, and then like they allow the uncle to cuss out the little boy, and then he gets kicked out of his room. People do mean things to him, and then when it's like they gaslight him. They keep like poking him, and then finally when he reacts, he's the one that gets in trouble, and no one else is corrected or anything's done to them. Honestly, the Home Alone parents for me are the worst parents probably in the history of TV or movies. They're just horrible people, and they really don't show any care for their son at all. I mean, by the fact that they can just leave him at home and can care, and it is what it is. I don't get it. So, but anyway, guys, that's it for Mommy Cray Cray. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe to me on both my channels, which is my Mommy Cray Cray channel and Mommy Cray Cray TV. Also follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.